Hi, it's Will from StormTheCastle.com. And in this one, I finish off the West Coast and California. I do 3 sites. I do Hollywood, then I stop at Mount Palomar Observatory where we climb a mountain, check out the observatory, and then cross over into Mexico and visit Tijuana. Fun video, a variety of interesting things. Let's do the intro. I'll talk more about it.
When I was a kid, my parents gave me a Road Atlas of America. It was a big hardcover book, full of beautiful pictures and maps of the country and of all 50 states. It had interesting information about population, industry, main crops, sights to see, and I loved that book. I spent a lot of time with it. I would measure out distances between cities and states and how long it would take me to drive. And I vowed that one day when I grew up, I would do that. I would take that drive, take a road trip around and see all of America. In the pursuing years, I've lost that book, but I never lost the dream. Now, many years later, it took me a long time, but I finally fulfilled that dream. Travel along with me on my road trip around America.
Okay, so I further my traveling down the coast of California, and I really like the terrain here and the landscape, and you can see the trees. I just wanted to show you a little bit, like, look at this. Look at the wrinkles in the earth there up ahead. I really like that. That's the only reason why I put this video, this snippet in here, so you could see how the nap of the earth flows there. It's kind of cool. But our first stop here is going to be Hollywood, California. And, Hollywood's kind of interesting. Um, it made me stop and think a lot about what exactly is Hollywood. It's movie studios and stuff like that, and I guess you can take tours of the different studios, but it's interesting how there's this downtown section of Hollywood, and there's just a lot of people mulling around and walking around, kind of almost aimless, like, what do we do? Where do we go? And so it's a very loose organization of various kind of like tourist sites like Ming's Chinese Theater and the Hollywood Walk of Fame with all the stars on it, and we'll get a look at some of that. But I wanted to first show you. Here's me. I had sent a private message to my patrons while I was there. But let's take a look here. We're going to zoom in on the Hollywood sign, which is worldwide iconic. Here it comes, coming up now. But it is interesting. I got parking right downtown, which was kind of nice, and it was a beautiful day. And I walked around and did a lot of walking. And I just visited some things. Didn't do anything special. Had something to eat. Spent the day there before I moved on to go further south. But see, there's the sign. That's the real sign. Who doesn't know that sign? So let's take a look a little bit more. I would imagine there's all kinds of tours you can take of the various movie studios and all kinds of different things. I didn't really take any tours or anything. But it makes for an interesting day. There's the famous Ming's Chinese Theater. This is where movie stars put their hands and their feet in cement, and this is where the stars are. See it? Kind of cool. I took pictures of a bunch of stars. I guess I'll put some of them on my website, some of the famous stars from, olden times and from modern times. It's interesting. And the day I was there was a movie star was getting, I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure, I think it was Jennifer Garner was getting her star put in either today or the next day. I forget, but I didn't go look. I didn't go watch. But there you go. It's kind of cool. 1959. Is that Humphrey Bogart? But it is a unique little thing that they've done here. It's famous. And I wasn't going to stop in Hollywood, but I figured, what the heck? It's right on the way, right near L.A. There's Humphrey Bogart right there. A lot of you young folks don't know who he is. But there we go. Now we'll take a look at some stars. But like I said, it makes for an interesting day. I didn't really do much. I walked around. I had something to eat. I did a little bit of shopping. Um, Nothing big. Had a lot of street performers and stuff doing different things, playing music, and so it was fun. Let's take a look at a few pictures, and then we are going to move on to something I was really looking forward to. the Mount Palomar Observatory. This is a famous telescope. Yeah, there you go, Hollywood Boulevard. Santa Monica Boulevard's around here somewhere too. You know, it's all a famous area of the country. You know, I have enjoyed California these past, how long has it been? A couple of weeks. This video covers 4 days and 210 miles, all the way down to the Mexico border. And in the next video, we're going to head northeast into Nevada and Las Vegas. Anyway, so that's it. That's Hollywood. The next day, I stayed in the motel. The next day, I head off to Mount Palomar Observatory. It's a famous observatory. I think it's been around 70 years. And for 25 years or so, it housed the largest telescope in the world, the Hale telescope, which has a 200-inch mirror in it, which was quite an engineering feat at its time, I think in the late 40s. And they call it the Highway to the Stars. But it is on the top of a mountain, so I had to get up that mountain. And it was fine, but you can't tell from the video here, but it was quite the excursion. A lot of winding roads, slowly getting up that mountain. That's one of the negatives I think about loving observatories, is they're all on the tops of mountains. So you got to get up that mountain if you want to see the telescope and have visiting hours and stuff, and but my car did well. My car's never broken down here on my excursion around America. Never got a flat tire or nothing. I'm grateful for that. But there we go. Let's just fast forward to some of this to give you an idea. Now we're entering the gates of Palomar Observatory. You know, if you're into telescopes and astronomy, you should look up Palomar. I used to read a lot about it when I was a kid. But they have a visitor center. It's kind of small, but interesting. A lot of the history of the observatory and the different telescopes and some of the work they've done and stuff like that. And there's one of the telescopes they used to use. It's no longer used. That's the actual telescope, real sized. But here's the 200-inch mirror that was made in Corning Glassworks in New York and then shipped across country on a railroad train. So let's take a look at the telescope, the observatory. There it is right there. Kind of neat. I couldn't go in. I was so disappointed. They do have limited amounts of tours, maybe twice a week or something. And I got there and I couldn't get a ticket. All the tickets were all sold out, and I was like, oh, I can't stay another day. Or it might have been 5 days till the next tour. I was like, I have to move on. I can't get in. But I could go inside the observation area and take a look at that beautiful telescope behind glass. And the reason why it's behind glass is that's temperature controlled in there. It makes a big difference in how a telescope operates if they can keep the temperature very stable. But it is interesting. Beautiful telescope. Like I said, a 200-inch mirror. Really, really amazing. There it is. There's a model of it. Isn't that something? That's a spectacular work of engineering. Still in service all these years later. But if you follow my stuff, I love telescopes and astronomy. I've made a few of my own telescopes. I have a few telescopes. There we go. There's the group that's going in because they got the tickets and I don't have mine. Drats. To be honest, I was disappointed. But that's it. But in the fact that I couldn't go in, but I wasn't disappointed by Mount Palomar. I'm glad I visited it. I've been reading about that since I was a teenager. There's the history of the telescope and the mirror and the largest telescope in the world. It was really something. So back down that mountain. I'll show you just a little bit here. But it is a memorable part of the trip. It's a beautiful ride, but it's you're going up a mountain and then you're going back down the mountain. So just thought you'd like to see a little bit of that. And I saw a lot of motorcyclists. I think this road of the mountain is famous among motorcycle clubs because it's a beautiful ride for a motorcycle to take. Well, anyway, so that's it. I stood in the place. The next day I drove down to Chula Vista. I stayed there, which is right near the border, and I took a train, like a subway kind of train, to the border so I could get into Mexico. There we go. And I had been to Mexico a few times, just over the border, but never Tijuana. And I love Mexico from what I've seen of it, but I don't stay at night, and I don't drink any alcohol. I stay away from any places like that. Just as a tourist, it's just I go during the day, and I enjoy the sights and the sounds and stuff like that. But let's listen to the music. And we'll show you some pictures of Tijuana, Mexico, and then that's it. We finishing off. I finished off the west coast, the left coast. And like I said, in the next video, I will be going to Las Vegas. We're doing well. This is 35 episodes of my trek around America. Thanks for following me. Hope you're enjoying it. Leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up.